What's the Breeders Look with the Geeches? My name's Steve. You might hear my dog running around. But today we're... So many noises, things falling off. Today we are going to... He's excited. But today we are going to be testing out these liquid chrome marker pens. Because I seen that they are going to be making a Lord Zedd and Rita 2-pack for the wedding anniversary. So, gonna have an extra Zedd, which is exciting, but that also means I can customize this one finally. I was thinking about buying an extra one in order to do something with, but kind of been passing on it because there's been other figures I've been wanting to buy. But now that I kind of have an excuse to do it now, we're gonna chrome it up, which, to be honest, this figure doesn't really need any extra attention to the detail, because for the most part, I think this thing's almost perfect. It's one of my favorite figures that's come out in a long time. If anything, I should probably try to match the color here. I really want to do something, but it doesn't really bother me that much. But after watching, especially the wedding stuff, I think the coloring on here should be a little bit more brighter and have more of a pop. And I think these chrome pens will do it pretty nicely. So, I'm going to go over top of this. What I have here is the 4mm and the 1mm, because I'm assuming I'm going to need this fine one to do the mask here. But hopefully, the 4mm, for coverage reasons, should get most of the rest of this. So, we're just going to start markering this guy up, see what happens. And then, there's also a nice little demonstration for you guys, too, if you guys collect, like, old Transformers or figures that already have chrome bits on them and say have deteriorated over time. I know I've seen some collectors actually use this stuff to touch up and restore figures. So that's cool. So for the customization for this guy, we are going to be doing his staff, which is the big thing that needs it. Also going to be adding a small piece of duct tape around here because I wanted to replicate some of the scenes that they used stateside when this thing got snapped and then they had to repair it, so you see it in some of the shots. I thought would be cool. And then doing this. But I guess we'll test it out on the staff first to really get a good demonstration of how this is going to look. And then we'll start touching up the figure. Does any instructions? Actually, not 100% certain how this is going to go. It looks like a typical paint pen. So just shake it up really good. I have this piece of plastic here. We will get the chrome on the marker. Not coming yet. Give it time. Alright, starting to get some drippage on here. Oh, that's kind of cool. I don't know if you guys can see it well, but it is super shiny. So I'm going to zoom in, and here we go. So, start going over top of it. Alright, so one thing, you have to be careful. I definitely got some on my fingers, which makes me sad now. Hopefully I can kind of maybe smooth it out with this. Damn, on a high note, this stuff seems like it's pretty forgiving. Alright, next order of business. Let's get working on this. Alright, pretty much done. I got a couple of spots I have to touch up, but for the most part I can show you guys overall how he's gonna look. But we got one key thing that we still need to do. Tag the duct tape to this. So, all I'm gonna do is pull this off, try to get a nice little straight strand, like so. And then, take another straight strand. We're gonna make this kind of tiny, eventually. Just want to get the jagged edge one because that duct tape isn't so clean looking. Anyways, so now take a little strip. It's gonna be kind of fun because this is super sticky. Actually, I kind of need a smaller strip, so got our little strip. Add it to our staff here. Wrap it around. Good to go. Now it's TV show accurate. Alright, so going over the finer details now. For the most part, the chrome pens worked pretty well. You do have to be careful that they take for freaking ever to dry. And the issue I've had the most with is his butts here. I've actually had to redo it and then tried it again. Gave it literally a day to dry, about half a day to dry. Put my thumb on it and it still leave thumbprints. So when you're messing with the stuff, make sure to give it a good 24 hours before you start playing with your figure. But for the most part, I noticed I'm missing, I didn't chrome this part here because I kind of just like did a little bit, let them dry, did a little bit, let them dry, did a little bit, let them dry. Because for the most part, there's just a lot of sections here that could come off. Like there's just a lot of stuff you're touching as you're trying to pen them. So you do some part of it, let them dry, and then move on to the next. But I will say that the chrome to me seems kind of inconsistent. Because like here it came out really nice and shiny. Here with the softer material, it's shinier than it originally was, but not crazy. Here it chromed out pretty nice. On the garment here, not so much. Like it's actually a little bit ugly there, and I might go back over that one more time. Like I said, on the back, on the large surface, had a big pain in the butt. The staff wasn't too hard, though. So pretty much I did like one half, let it dry, did the other half, let it dry. And then you'll see on certain sections of his legs, looks really nice. The feet chromed out pretty nice. Overall, I will say that you can kind of, like, the more you touch the stuff, the more the chromeness kind of dulls away. So there is that to take into consideration. But it still, it adds a nice effect to it. And especially like you could see around the head, it shined up really nice. So for the most part, pretty happy with the way it turned out. I think it's just gonna be a lot of like trial and error and maybe having to try to buff it a little bit. But it's pretty neat. For $10, it does a pretty decent job. Could I maybe used a paint to kind of replicate this? Probably. Might have been a little easier because it's like once you like miss a certain spot, it'll definitely show up. Like I'm still gonna have to clean him up a little bit before I really have him like display worthy. But as a trial run for the pens, I think if you're trying to like touch up a figure, like say like a Transformers, like the wheels you want to chrome out a little bit, I think it'll do very nicely. You don't really want to use it though on something you're going to be handling a lot. So like I said, it's cool on this, but for the most part, me touching is going to kind of dull the finish a little bit. So I'm going to have to shine them back up periodically. But for random stuff like that, or even like old toys where like the chrome's kind of faded off a little bit, like example. But like this guy, if you got like an old figure that you want to touch up the chrome on, I think it would work very nicely overall. And also definitely made the figure a little bit cooler for me. Because we have that, the wedding tooth bag coming out. I kind of want to make my one that's going to be loose a little bit different, or a little bit more show accurate in terms of coloring. And I think the pens did a pretty nice job. So for $10, not complaining too much. But what did you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below. Not sure if we're going to be doing any other customs anytime soon. We got the Spinosaurus I got to try to start working on here sometime. But other than that, once it starts warming up a little bit, I can start working on a bunch of other things. Especially those alien queens. Got to get those going. And help us defeat those kaijus by hitting the like button, subscribe, become a Ranger Deal. See you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.